Hey, I know we were waiting for this one, baby. We're looking at Salesforce. Take a look at these earnings. They just reported earnings, obviously, after hours today, down 4% so far. So, obviously, pretty rough outing on top of the 1.8% they were down on the normal trading session. So, pretty rough time for them today. We'll take a look at these earnings and see what the reasoning for this is. So, obviously, we look at these numbers, and my gosh, you see these beats, and you're quite impressed. Non-GAAP EPS. First off, I know they changed the font. Seeking Alpha changed their font or something. The page layout's different. It's throwing me off big time. Okay, it's throwing me off big time. But Salesforce puts a non-GAAP EPS of $1.74, beats by 99 cents, massive, and a GAAP EPS of $1.15, beats by $1.11. So they were only expected to do 4 cents of GAAP EPS, and they put a $1.15 number up there. Pretty crazy in my opinion. Really good beat though on the top line, you can't deny. And from a revenue perspective, yeah, not too bad. Revenue of 5.42 billion, up 20% year over year, beats by 160 million. Now, again, if you remember in my stocks to or earnings reports to watch video, I expected this would be between 18 and 20% in terms of year-over-year growth. They were only expecting a 17% growth. So the fact that it's 20% doesn't shock me. I kind of expected even a little bit bigger. I can't lie to you. That's what she said. It's unfortunate, and it's something I have to live with, and it's not my fault. But good revenue number, all things considered. I was expecting a little bit better though, honestly. And billings of 4.56 billion versus a consensus of 4.74. Could be part of the reason we're down, no doubt. From a quarter four guidance perspective, it's looking pretty good. 5.66 billion, 5.67 billion expected by them compared to a consensus of 5.53. So really good there. And a non-GAAP EPS of expected 73 cents to 74 cents versus an 86 cents consensus. So they do miss on the GAAP or the non-GAAP EPS portion of the consensus or the guidance. So that also is another factor you have to consider with the stock trading at high multiples. Typically, you're going to want to beat all three aspects, both the top line, bottom line, so your EPS, profitability, revenue, and typically your guidance you'll want to beat as well if you want your stock to go up after hours. That's just kind of how it works with these high multiple stocks, right? They're trading very high. The raised full year guidance for the year, they're expecting 21.1 to 21.1 billion versus a guidance of 20.7 to 20.8 and a consensus of 20.8. So they're expecting more, which is good. It's good to see. Non-GAAP EPS expected of 462 to 463 versus a prior guidance of 372 to 374 versus a consensus of 375. Really, really good in that aspect, and a lot of this comes from this smash of a quarter right here. Yeah, really, really good quarter there, no doubt. So Salesforce, we'll get into this top line here in just a second. We're skipping it over, okay? Total revenue was up 19% in constant currency. Subscription and sales support were up 20%. Cash from operations was $340 million, which is up 14% year over year. Remaining performance obligations stood at $30.3 billion at the quarter's end, which is up 17% year over year. Good on that aspect. For quarter four, we saw the guidance there. For quarter one, they're giving quarter one guidance too of 5.68 to 5.71 billion. Pretty good compared to, that's the same thing as quarter four there. It's pretty nice versus a consensus of 5.65. So good beat there too on that guidance. Full year, we saw that as well. One thing you need to mention, CFO Mark Hawkins is retiring January 31st. Boom. So another reason, executive mix-ups can cause the stock to go down for many reasons. Obviously, it's the uncertainty that gets a lot of people. The CLO, Amy Weaver, is expected to step into that role. So we'll see how Amy Weaver does in the role. We'll see. And the main line we skipped here is that Salesforce has signed an agreement to acquire Slack. This is freaking massive. This is a company that's reporting earnings later. Come on now. Slack, they're acquiring Slack for $27.7 billion. That's a lot of money. Each Slack shareholder will receive $26.76 in cash per share, and they'll also get 0.07 0.0776 Salesforce shares per share. So one thing you need to consider, it'll be funded with a combination of new debt and cash on hand to close during quarter 2 of 2022. So it's, again, a year away, 2 years away at this rate. One thing you need to consider is the fact that, they're going to be raising debt for this. And I think that definitely can scare some people away when you talk about this. But they say this is a match made in heaven, obviously, from Mark Benoit, as I like to call him. It'll be an interesting combo for sure. Slack's even down too. But again, investors were expecting this for the most part, so it was somewhat priced into the stock, so neither one has gone up so far. Here's the press release. Did that make you feel good? Press release. I know I'm pretty good at talking. I mean, hey, what can I say, baby? You can't stop me. So really, really good stuff here. We saw all these lines here for the most part. For the revenue line, we saw that operating margin for the third quarter, GAAP operating margin was 4.1%. Non-GAAP margin was 19.8%. We saw the EPS line, the cash line, and the remaining performance obligations. So nothing super, super crazy. Obviously, good stuff to see in this perspective. From a nothing crazy here. Nothing crazy. This goes into Q4 guidance again. A lot of these they don't have fill outs for. What a shocker. For the full year of next year, obviously they're not going to give an EPS estimate because, the year hasn't even started yet. So they're definitely not going to be doing that. Not a shocker. And for the most part, all this stuff is stuff that we've already covered, so there's nothing super crazy. I would like to look, obviously, we see the CFO announcement. We'd like to look at the balance sheet on this company. It's something we like to do, Here's the thing with me. I look at the balance sheet. It's like checking out a nice vehicle. Show me the Carfax. Show me the balance sheet, baby. That gets me excited. They're giving me a 9 months comparison here. Gets me excited. I love 9 months. I love 1 year too, but 9 months is pretty exciting. $59.1 billion in total assets in general, versus $55.1 billion of 9 months ago. So an improvement around $4 billion in terms of total assets. Pretty good. Obviously, you see majority of that improvement is going to be in deferred tax. So nothing substantial there, and also strategic investments, purchases of companies, maybe some of it, From a liabilities perspective, total current liabilities sit at 12.3 versus 14.8, so a decrease there, and overall total liabilities is at 18.8 versus 21.2. So you see assets rise and liabilities shrink. I like that. Total stockholder equity is at $40.3 billion compared to $33.8 of a year ago, or 9 months ago. I like that. Not only is the balance sheet growing, but stockholder equity is growing as well, and I really like that. Now, the investment with Slack obviously will take a lot of that. $27 billion is no joke, but the company's got plenty to survive that, no doubt. Company's bringing in a lot of cash, and with this, how they've been performing lately in terms of profitability, they got a good bit ahead of them, as far as profitability is concerned. So that's what I got for you for Salesforce. The stock's not trading at ridiculous multiples, but it is really close to its 52-week high, and I don't like it necessarily at these valuations at the moment. I think there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of growth still for this company. I really do. I can't deny it, and I think with, obviously, this new acquisition, it could be a lot for them as well. But that's what I got for you today. Really hope you enjoyed.